21 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to add here. So in most fantasy leagues, it's playoff week in head-to-head format starting off. The first guy is Dean Kremer of the Baltimore Orioles. So Kremer, it's been a pretty decent season here for the most part, especially in a tough American League East. 89 in the third, 6-4 record, 89 hits, 32 runs, 19 walks, 68 strikeouts, 6 quality starts, a 3.22 ERA, and a 1.71 whip. So right here, Kramer's gone out there. He's pitched good baseball of late for this Baltimore team, and he's definitely a guy getting things going. The last few weeks here for him, 13 2/3, 1-0 record, 9 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 9 Ks, and 2 quality starts for Kremer. So he's going deep into games. Baltimore, they got a chance here of getting into the playoffs as well with the next 3 weeks left here in the regular season. August 21st versus Boston, 5 1/3 in that one, no decision. 5 hits, a run, 2 walks, 4 Ks. August 27th at Houston, 7 2/3, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 3 Ks, a quality start. And September 2nd versus Oakland, 6 innings, no decision. 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 Ks, a quality start. So Kremer, he's going out there. I know Boston and Oakland, not good hitting teams, but he obviously got the job done versus the Astros, the best team in the American League here. Now, September 7th, I know it's a tough matchup versus a good Toronto Blue Jay lineup, but Kremer, he's a guy I'm willing to take a shot on here. Right now, he's available still in 74% of fantasy leagues. The next guy is Marco Gonzales of the Seattle Mariners. So Gonzales, it's been an up-and-down type of year here for him, but he's starting to solidify himself over the last month of the season. On the season, 146 2/3, 10-12 record, 159 hits, 65 runs, 44 walks, 80 Ks, 15 quality starts, a 3.99 ERA, 1.38 whip. But over the last couple weeks here, like I mentioned, he's been pitching much better. 12 innings, 2-0 record, 11 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 2 quality starts, a 3 ERA, and a 1.08 whip. So right now, his next matchups here today on Labor Day is Marco Gonzales versus the Chicago White Sox that have just been an up-and-down team all season, but the last few outings, he's gone out there, and he's getting the job done. August 19th at Oakland, 5 1/3, got the win. 6 hits, a run, 2 walks, a K in that one. August 25th versus the Guardians, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, a run, a walk, 4 Ks, a quality start. August 31st at Detroit, 6 innings, got the win. 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, a K, a quality start. And today here, like I mentioned, a good matchup versus a White Sox team. That's a hit or miss, honestly, in this offense. Some games they'll have big games, and some games they don't show up. But right now, while Seattle's playing good baseball of late, and Gonzales has been pitching good of late, he's definitely a guy willing to add, even as a spot starter, probable today here versus the White Sox. Available right now in 67% of fantasy leagues. The next guy is Jordan Lyles of the Baltimore Orioles. So Lyles, another guy starting here today in a doubleheader versus the Toronto Blue Jays. And he's been pretty decent as well on the season. 152 1/3, 10-9 record, 172 hits, 72 runs, 48 walks, 123 Ks, and 11 quality starts. But the last couple weeks here for Lyles, 13 2/3, 1-0 record, 13 hits, a run, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 2 quality starts, and 0.66 ERA in the time, and a 1.77 whips on the season. I know the ERA and whip isn't great with a 4.25 ERA and a 1.44 whip, but he's a guy that's going out there and getting the job done. And I know he had some easy matchups in the last few outings here, and today definitely will be a test versus the Blue Jays for Lyles. But like I said, it's hard to find starting pitching, especially this part of the season and playoff time here for most fantasy owners. Right now available in 81% of leagues, and the last few outings here for him, August 19th versus Boston, 4 innings in that one, no decision, 9 hits, 4 runs, 5 Ks. August 25th versus the White Sox, 7 innings, no decision, 9 hits, a run, 2 Ks, a quality start. And August 31st at the Guardians, 6 2/3, got the win, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks, a quality start. So right here, the hard, tough matchup here today, no doubt about it, versus the Jays for Lyles. But like I said, he's been pitching well over the last couple weeks here, and I'm willing to take a gamble here on him. Pick him up this week. The next guy, Hunter Brown of the Houston Astros, so one of the top prospects in this Astro organization here. And this team, it just seems like they got guys every other year coming up and putting up huge numbers. And now with Justin Verlander out, Brown's going to take his spot for a couple games here, I would think. So Brown, a top prospect in the Houston system, and on the year, 134 strikeouts in the minors with a 2.55 ERA in 106 innings. So he's got electric stuff. Right now, he might only come in for a few innings to start this ball game, but right now he's a guy I definitely would have confidence in here, Brown. He's on a good Astro team. This guy's the top prospect. He's thrown 106 innings this season here, and he's going to be a guy that has swing and miss stuff right now till Verlander comes back, and we know the Astros best team in the American League. No reason to rush Verlander. They're ready to go for the postseason here. And Hunter Brown's a guy that definitely could pay good dividends for fantasy owners, and a guy that should be picked up this week here. He's got gas. He's going to throw hard. There's going to be some learning curves, no doubt about it. But he's got a decent matchup here in his Major League debut versus the Texas Rangers today. And we'll see what he can do. So versus a weak Ranger lineup, good upside and swing and miss stuff with Verlander route, he's definitely a guy we'll give an opportunity to at least a couple starts here before you're going to keep him or get rid of him. And right now, still available widely in 76% of fantasy leagues. Next pitcher I look to add this week is Bailey Falter of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Falter, he's made a couple starts this season, but lately he's really getting things going on the season. 57 and a third, 3-3 record, 55 hits, 26 runs, 13 walks, 52 Ks, 4 quality starts, 4.08 ERA, a 1.19 whip. But the last couple weeks here, he's kicked it into gear and pitched good baseball. 12 and a third, 2-0 record, 10 hits, 4 runs, 12 Ks, 2 quality starts, 2.92 ERA, and a 0.81 whip. So Falter, he's a tweener here for this Philly team. When they need a starter, he's in there. And if you need a guy out of the bullpen, he's in there. But right now, he's been a starter for this Philly team. And I know he's had some easy matchups of late here, but he's gone out there and got the job done. August 26th versus the Pirates. 6 innings, got the win. 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 Ks, a quality start. And August 31st at the Diamondbacks, 6 and a third, got the win. 5 hits, a run, 6 Ks, a quality start. And he has another good, easy matchup coming up in a couple days here versus the Marlins, with one of the worst hitting teams in the league. So Falter right now available in 91% of fantasy leagues. And he's definitely a guy in deeper leagues or even basic 12-team leagues I would give an ad this week. He's got a good matchup coming up. He's been pitching good baseball. And like I said, he's a starter reliever, which is good eligibility as well. And this Philly team, I know it's been up and down over the last few games here, but for the most part, they still score runs and give their pitchers chances to win as long as they don't get bombed. The next guy's John Schreiber of the Boston Red Sox. So right here, a couple closers have made the list this week here, and Schreiber's taken over the last few weeks as the closer for this Red Sox team, and he's getting the job done on the season. 55 in a third of an inning, 3-3 record, 7 saves, 36 hits, 13 runs, 13 walks, 64 Ks, 2 blown saves, a 2.11 ERA, and a 0.89 whip. But the last couple weeks here, he's been unhittable pretty much. 6 and a third, 0-1 record, 3 saves, 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 Ks, available as well in 67% of fantasy leagues. So right now, this Red Sox team, I know they're probably not going to make the playoffs here. I know that AL East, things are getting tight a little with the Yankees free-falling of late here. And this Red Sox team, they got a couple tough matchups coming up at Tampa and Baltimore in division games, obviously, in the AL East. So Schreiber here, he's going out there, he's getting the job done. And he's a guy, if you need a closer, why not? I know this Red Sox team's not going to win many more ball games here, but if he could get him a save or two a week here from Schreiber, why not? In this part of the season, a lot of closers are changing. It seems like younger guys are getting opportunities, or even the older closers are getting more of a rest for contending teams towards the playoff race. So right now, if you need a guy that could go out there and get you a few saves, maybe 5 or 6 more saves in the next few weeks here, why not go out there and get Schreiber? He's got good stuff. He's pitching good baseball. And like I said, closers, it's been a crapshoot for most part of the season. And if you don't have any of those top guys, then you're going to have to go out there and obviously get a closer that can help your fantasy team in that category or even points leagues. The next guy's another closer, Jimmy Herget of the Los Angeles Angels. Obviously, they traded Iglesias at the deadline to the Atlanta Braves, and they've been trying to find an option in the 9th inning. And the Angels, we know, one of the worst teams in the league. After the first month of the season, they got off to a hot start, but Jimmy Herget, he's come out of nowhere this season, and he's pitching good baseball in the season. 54 and 2/3, 2-1 record, 5 saves, 39 hits, 16 runs, 13 walks, 53 Ks, a blown save, a 2.63 ERA, and a 0.95 whip. But the last couple weeks here for Herget, 6 innings, 3 saves, 3 hits, 4 walks, 7 Ks, no ERA, and a 1.17 whip. So he's going out there, he's getting the job done. And another guy here, not on the greatest of teams, but if you need saves, it's hard to find at this part of the season on the waiver wire. He's a guy to go out there and get him. Right now, he's available in 79% of fantasy leagues. The next guy's Michael Soroka of the Atlanta Braves. I've been talking about Soroka for weeks here. And this Brave team, they're going to call him up sooner than later, I believe. He definitely can help this team, even though I know this pitching staff has caught fire. They got Kyle Wright, 17 wins. Spencer Strider, what a season it's been here for him in his rookie year, especially striking out tons of batters early and often. Charlie Morton's turned things around. Max Fried, we know he's the ace. And that fifth spot, yeah, it's a little bit up in flux over there in Atlanta. But right now, Mike Soroka, I think, can help fantasy teams here. And he had another rehab assignment on Saturday, what looks like to be his last one. So we haven't seen him since 2020, where he's coming off 2 major Achilles injuries. But he was an ace for this Brave staff as well with Soroka before he went down. But obviously, this Brave team overcame it. They won the World Series last year. And now that he's 100% and they gave him time to stretch out and get things back together over there in the minors, he could be a big piece for fantasy owners. And obviously the Atlanta Braves in the postseason. So right now, Soroka's still available, surprisingly, in 63% of fantasy leagues. He's definitely a guy we're giving ad this week. The next guy is Domingo Germán of the New York Yankees. So Germán, it's been a tale of 2 seasons pretty much here for him. But now he's starting to get it going, even though I know it's only been 49 innings on the season. 2-3 record, 44 hits, 17 runs, 11 walks, 32 Ks, 4 quality starts, a 3.12 ERA, and a 1.12 whip. But over the last couple weeks here for Germán, he's really getting things going. 20 2/3, 1-1 record, 13 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, 3 quality starts, a 1.31 ERA, and a 0.73 whip. So very surprising to me, he's still out there as well, is Germán in 63% of fantasy leagues. He's on a Yankee team that obviously has been free-falling, but I think this team could flip the switch as well and get hot hitting the baseball as well, and then he could really take off here, Germán. So Germán, I know he's getting back into shape over the last few weeks after missing a majority of the season, and he's pitching good baseball now. August 22nd versus the Mets, 6 1/3, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 3 Ks, a quality start. August 27th at Oakland, 7 2/3, no decision. 3 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, a quality start. And September 2nd in Tampa, 6 2/3, got the loss. 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, a K, quality start. So right here, he's pitching good baseball as Germán. September 7th at the stadium, a pretty decent matchup versus the Minnesota Twins. This Twin team, they just can't hit this season here, and they're struggling as well in that AL Central. So right now, this Yankee team's definitely free-falling. They're not what they were in the first half of the season here. But I think Germán's gone out there and he's given this team quality starts. He's given them length, which has been surprising. And if their hitting could get back on track here, he's a guy that definitely can help you in the next few weeks here and possibly help you win a championship. And the final pitcher I looked at this week's Roansy Contreras of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Contreras, he's a guy I've mentioned a lot this season here as a pickup, but still available in 81% of fantasy leagues. I know he's in a bad team in the Pittsburgh Pirates there, one of the worst teams in the league, but he's still putting up decent numbers this year. 74 innings, 4-4 record, 64 hits, 28 runs, 33 walks, 70 Ks, 3 quality starts, a 3.41 ERA, and a 1.31 whip. So I know he's not going to go deep into games. He's a 5-6 inning pitcher at most. I know he's not going to get many wins with this bad Pirate team, but he's a guy that's going to go out there, give you quality outings, help your ERA, help your strikeouts, and I think that accounts for something, especially in 12-team leagues or deeper, and especially if you want to solidify your pitching staff this late in the season here. I think he's a guy that's good for the rotation on the season in the last couple weeks as well. 18 innings, 1-1 record, 11 hits, 3 runs, 7 walks, 17 Ks, 2 quality starts, a 1.50 ERA, and a 1 whip. So Contreras, I know he's got a tough matchup September 9th in his next outing versus the Cardinals. But right here, he's gone out there versus good hitting teams. And for the most part, he's held his own. August 22nd versus Atlanta, 7 innings, got the loss. 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, a quality start. August 28th at Philly, 5 innings in that one, got the win. 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks. And September 3rd versus Toronto, 6 innings in that one, no decision. 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, a quality start. So he's going out there, getting the job done here. Is Contreras. And I like what I see from him. I know it's been tough matchups, but he's holding his own like I mentioned. And I would give him an add this week. So that's a few pitchers I look to add here in a big week 21 of the fantasy baseball season.